Intrusive thoughts, uncontrollable anger, feeling disconnected from your baby. These are just a few of the postpartum depression signs that often go unnoticed. But with postpartum depression affecting 1 in 7 new mums and up to 50% of women going undiagnosed, is something that we need to talk about openly for the sake of you and your baby. Hi, I'm Katie. I'm a mum of 2 and a former paramedic and current parenting and breastfeeding coach. I've encountered postpartum depression professionally, and I think it's something that we don't talk about enough and all new mums need to be aware of. I just want to define a few common terms that you may have heard thrown around. First, there's the baby blues, which is a common condition that affects up to 80% of new mums. If you're feeling moody, anxious, teary in the first couple of weeks after giving birth, you're likely experiencing the baby blues. These symptoms usually develop within 2 to 3 days after childbirth and go away on their own within 2 weeks as your hormones start to stabilise. On the other hand, postpartum depression, or PPD, which is what we'll talk about today, is a more serious mood disorder. A large meta-analysis across 80 countries estimated the global prevalence of PPD to be 17% of new mothers worldwide. With PPD, symptoms go on for longer than 2 weeks and can make it difficult to care for yourself and your baby. PPD can develop any time within the first year after giving birth. 2 other conditions that often go hand in hand with PPD are postpartum anxiety and postpartum OCD. Postpartum anxiety involves excessive worrying and feelings of dread, while postpartum OCD is characterised by intrusive thoughts and compulsive behaviours, often related to fears of harming your baby. Lastly, there's postpartum psychosis, a rare but severe condition that affects 1 to 2 out of every 1,000 new mums. Symptoms like hallucinations, delusions, and paranoia usually develop within the first few weeks after delivery and require immediate medical attention. While many people are familiar with the more common symptoms of postpartum depression, like sadness, crying spells, and feeling overwhelmed, there are several critical signs that often go unnoticed. These signs may be missed because they don't fit the typical image of depression, or they might be mistaken for normal challenges of motherhood like sleep deprivation, rather than red flags for a more serious problem. Some women feel ashamed or guilty for experiencing these symptoms, worrying that it means they're a bad mother and therefore suffer in silence. Us mums tend to focus all our attention on our new babies and mistakenly think that our struggles are insignificant compared to the baby's needs. So let's take a closer look at these 5 critical signs of postpartum depression that most people overlook. The first overlooked symptom of postpartum depression is intrusive thoughts. One of the most disturbing symptoms is having intrusive, scary thoughts about harm coming to yourself or your baby. These thoughts can feel like they've come out of nowhere and can be incredibly upsetting. Having these thoughts does not mean you want to act on them or that you will act on them. In fact, being distressed by these thoughts is a sign they go against your values and desires as a mother. Another overlooked sign of postpartum depression is uncontrollable anger and rage. Many new mums experience intense irritability and anger that feels out of character. You might find yourself snapping at your partner or feeling resentful towards your baby. This symptom is common when it comes to adjusting to motherhood, but when anger feels overwhelming and uncontrollable, it could be a sign of PPD. The next overlooked sign of postpartum depression is feeling disconnected from your baby. So postpartum depression can make it difficult to bond with your baby. You might feel numb, detached, or even resentful towards your little one. This lack of connection can be heartbreaking, but it's not your fault and it doesn't mean that you don't love your baby. The fourth commonly overlooked symptom of postpartum depression is severe anxiety and panic. It's normal to worry about your new baby, but postpartum anxiety takes these fears to the extreme. You might have racing thoughts, rapid heartbeat, or feel like you're constantly on edge. Some mums also develop postpartum OCD, which can involve compulsive behaviours related to protecting your baby. The last overlooked symptom I want to talk about is insomnia or hypersomnia. Sleep is already a challenge when you have a newborn, but postpartum depression can make it even harder. You might have trouble falling asleep even when your baby is sleeping, or you might find yourself sleeping all the time and still feeling exhausted. Changes in sleep patterns can significantly impact your mental health and make it harder to cope with the challenges of motherhood. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I'm just a little tired and overwhelmed. It's not that big of a deal, and I don't really have the time or energy to focus on this right now. I've got a newborn to deal with here. Surely it'll just get better on its own, won't it? It's tempting to brush off these symptoms and hope they'll go away on their own, especially when you're knee-deep in nappies and sleep deprivation. But here's the thing, ignoring these signs and trying to tough it out on your own can actually make things harder in the long run. Not just for you, but for your baby and your whole family. Let's talk about the impact of untreated postpartum depression. For you, it can lead to a long and severe battle with depression, making it harder to recover and feel like yourself again. It can make it difficult to take care of yourself and your baby, leaving you feeling guilty and inadequate. And if left untreated, PPD can even put you at risk of self-harm or suicide. But it's not just about you. Studies have shown that mothers' untreated postpartum depression can affect her ability to bond with her baby, which could go on to affect the baby's emotional, behavioural, and cognitive development. It can strain your relationship with your partner and family, leaving you feeling isolated and unsupported. I know it feels like you don't have time to focus on your own mental health right now, but taking care of yourself is one of the best things you can do for your baby. Just like they tell you on aeroplanes, you need to put on your own oxygen mask before assisting others. And trust me, I remember those hectic first few weeks. When someone asks us how we're doing, our automatic response is often to say, I'm fine, even when we're struggling. We don't want to burden others with our troubles, and honestly, most people aren't prepared to hear the real raw answer, and we haven't got the energy to explain it. Admitting we're not okay can be scary. It makes our struggles feel more real and forces us to confront the fact that we might need help. So much of that battle happens in the quiet, lonely hours of the night when it feels like we're the only ones awake and struggling. So here's my advice. Start by confiding in just one trusted person, whether that's your partner, your best friend, your mum, your doctor, someone who will listen without judgment and support you in getting the help you need. Please don't minimise your feelings. Postpartum depression is a real and serious condition that requires support and treatment. It's not a reflection of your worth as a mother or a sign of weakness. In fact, seeking help is one of the bravest and most responsible things you can do for you and your baby. It means you're willing to prioritise your mental health and do what it takes to be the best mum possible. Remember, you're not alone in this. Postpartum depression affects so many mothers, and there's no shame in asking for help. You deserve to enjoy this special time with your baby, and with the right support, you absolutely can. If you feel comfortable, please share your experience with postpartum depression below in the comments. What symptoms did you struggle with? How did you know it was more than just baby blues? And if you're reading through the comments and see a story that resonates with you, leave a word of encouragement or support. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and a share with any other mums who you think may need to hear this message. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content about navigating joys and challenges of motherhood. See you in the next video.